live, ECU? Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
East Carolina defeats Charlotte 48-22 on homecoming. In its next to last home game of the year, the Pirates are now bowl eligible 6-3 and 4-1 in the American Conference. We'll talk about that and much more over the next hour. Huge game against Memphis coming up inside Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. The home regular season finale. There's still a chance ECU could theoretically host the conference title game, but most likely you would say their final home game of the 2025 season. We are open for comments on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you got a question or anything to add, feel free to drop it there. We'll get to it over the course of the next hour. Also, download the show, as always, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Today's crew, we've got our usual Philip Pilkington producer behind the glass, but in studio, we got a special guest. We're throwing it back. Charlotte native himself, Brady Thomas, former Hoist the Colors intern. He hit me up. He was like, hey, I'm going to be in town. Might as well come on the show as well. And here he is, Brady. I said you would host the show solo if Charlotte won the game. So you didn't have to do that at least. So welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I always enjoy being back in the studio with the guys. And I'm also glad I am not hosting the show by myself.
How good does it feel to be able to return home and talk to any of your Charlotte buddies about ECU actually not losing to the 49ers?
Yeah, I only have one good buddy that went to Charlotte, and he always hits me with I could care less, so not athletic school, whatever. Yeah. So
commuter school.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even sure really if they have true fans. I think we're give it maybe 5-6 more years, and they might have more, but not even sure they have true. Other than those people on Twitter, I don't even think those are fans either.
So Philip is also from the Charlotte area, and you have family that goes there, correct, Philip? So
my sister went there. Yeah, she graduated.
So do you have any bragging rights, or does she also not really care?
Yeah, I don't think she really cares. It was one of those things, like she had a friend group in college, but they didn't really care that much about going to sporting events. And they were so down, they were so bad. She hasn't really found the love for it. Also, she really didn't like the school as a whole, so I think that has a lot to do with it. She had a bad academic advisor and all that. I mean, she finished in 4 years. She did what she had to do, but she didn't have the best experience. So I don't have bragging rights over her. It's more over like a lot of the there's some dudes we go to church with that grew up, went to Charlotte, and are avid Charlotte basketball fans and have been praying for a football team for years. And these guys have never missed a home Charlotte football game. So these guys are in their 60s. So those are the guys I more have bragging rights over, other than more than my sister, honestly.
So the Pirates get the Charlotte's monkey off their back. It wasn't the dominant 70-point win that I think some were hoping for, but you still win the game by 26. And you can't complain, but so much. We'll read some of the comments here in a minute, but let's just go around the horn. Just original or overall thoughts on the game. What did we like? What did we not like? We'll start with Brady. What did you like on Saturday?
Yeah, it was first and foremost definitely good to get that win over Charlotte and get their first win over Charlotte since they have moved to the American. Good to get that win, but 28-0. I don't know if I was expecting that fast of a start, as if it was anybody, but definitely need to keep the foot on the gas. I mean, Charlotte did score more points than I thought they were originally going to, but obviously it wasn't a close game at that point. But some of those teams can come back and get you with 2 or 3 mistakes on the offensive side of the ball. So you just got to keep the foot on the gas a little bit more there. And there was a few missed opportunities just in the passing game, I think, just a little bit. But overall, a good win and hard to complain too much, like you said.
Philip, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just, to Brady's point with the fast start, honestly, had you told me we were going to win by 23 or whatever it ended up being, I would have said okay. If you'd told me we were going to be up 28-0 that quick and then only win by 23, yeah, I wouldn't have been real happy. And I'm not real happy with the way they played. Look, they proved why they're the more dominant football team for the first quarter of that football game. On both sides of the football. You knew Charlotte was going to make some plays. I mean, that receiver, man, that kid's a hell of an athlete, and credit to him. He went out there and made some plays. but I still think there were some times both offensively that you could have stayed on the field and defensively that you could have gotten off the field and just did not execute well enough on third down, I think, on either side of the football. And, I know some third down is what you do on first and second, but still just overall not as clean of a game as you would like to see. However, it was clean in the aspect of you only committed one penalty, and it was a dead ball celebration penalty. So we'll take that. No true penalties in the game, because I think that one was kind of, done on purpose, I should say. So we'll take that.
It was definitely thought and planned out, it appeared, as Jamarion McCrimmon spikes the ball. Blake said, since they were up 28-0, we just had the press conference, he was like, next time, just give the ball to me on the sideline when we're up 28 and I'll spike it. So I think that would also be a penalty, though, Blake. Either way, I thought that was pretty funny. Some thoughts from yours truly. Look, ECU did what they needed to do. I'm with you guys. Little sloppy, drop passes. PFF had ECU with 7 drop passes. I mean, if you catch 3-4 of those, obviously the Anthony Smith play, then the score looks even more lopsided. I thought, too, the 4th and 7, they hit the big passing play for their first touchdown. ECU brought the pressure. If you just don't give up that play, maybe the game isn't close at all. But Charlotte got a little momentum from that. The other thing, I mean, really, Charlotte, they hit the 4 big passing plays. Outside of that, they didn't do anything. So you look at the net success rate. Did we really get beat that bad chart? Parker Fleming on Twitter at StatsAware always posts this. So basically what this does is it's just per play, did you win each play in the game? ECU had the 5th best net success rate over the opponent for the college football weekend. So Toledo over Northern Illinois, USF over UTSA was 2nd, Ohio State over Purdue was 3rd, Akron over UMass was 4th, Notre Dame over Navy was 5th. So ECU actually 6th, ECU over Charlotte 6th. So that basically says, ECU won the plays almost every down. The problem is you gave up the 4 explosive pass plays. You also dropped some passes that would have, extended drives. So I think ECU really dominated the game, even though the scoreboard might suggest Charlotte hung around. But, if you take away 2 or 3 of those plays and reverse it, maybe you are looking at, 60-10 or something like some people were suggesting. So I just wanted to make that point because I thought that was interesting, Brady.
Yeah, for sure. They not necessarily run it up, but the margin could have been a lot more than it was. And
you also took out the starters with 10 minutes left as well.
Yeah, so. Didahat came in and played, obviously saving Mike Wright for his utility abilities on the field.
A little disappointed, guys, that Mike Wright didn't get the touchdown. Got knocked out at the one on the throwback because I was hoping to see the DX celebration. Apparently he had that in the tank, Phillips. So that would also draw on a flag, but if you get 2 celebration flags and no regular flags, I think people would be happy with that, right?
Yeah, you can't complain with that. That's two times in the end zone. So
yeah, I think into celebration flags, they're okay sometimes and they're not others. When it's predetermined, hey, we're gonna do this, we're up big. Sure, take the celebration flag. When you're Rico Dowdle, when you're doing it in a 3-point game or whatever the hell it was, you don't want that. So, the other thing, too, is, you don't want it after a sack to give an automatic first down, but I think they've been okay with that. Also, I'm trying to remember, though, was that the same drive, though, that we ended up scoring and celebrating anyways, though? So I think it only been 1 flag.
It may have been. I know Caton
Caton
scored in the
ran
next
it in
play,
on
and then maybe he did give it to McCrimmon.
I think that's what play
that's
was.
probably what it was. So that's fair. All right. Charlotte, Rohan points out Charlotte did have a bye week to prep for the game. That probably made the game closer than you'd expect. I do think they look. I say going to the game, their quarterback, if he has time to throw with their receivers, they can hit the explosive plays. Now, the one thing I will say is there was one play they cut Sean Brown loose on the sideline in cover 3 where they were just bad defense there. The other plays, for me, they just made plays. So, as long as you're not just busting coverages left and right, the first touchdown they scored, ECU zeroed out, brought the pressure. They picked it up enough to where you get their slot guy on Tegan Wilk. And if you're, Charlotte, you take that matchup every time. That's one of your best receivers. And so, they just made some good plays, and bad teams are capable of making plays too. So I wasn't too concerned with that. Obviously, you don't want to give them up, but I'm just saying, it's not like ECU was busting coverages left and right. But certainly, they're going to have to make some plays on the football against Memphis. We'll get into that. Memphis a much better passing game overall than Charlotte. Individually for ECU, Caton Hauser, solid game, 26 of 41, 224 yards, 2 scores. Again, if Anthony Smith catches that ball, he probably throws for 3 touchdowns with 270. So, he also had another back shoulder throw to Anthony, I thought, that could have been a touchdown. I can't remember if they scored on that drive or not, but I thought Caton looked good. He did miss a throw to DeCirio that I'm sure he would love to have back. That was that ended up being a penalty, so extend the drive. I think they scored anyways. I thought London Montgomery, guys, the last few weeks, he's starting to look like a number 1 back, like breaking tackles. He broke 7 tackles per PFF on Saturday. He had 9 all season coming into the game. So what did you think of London, Brady?
Yeah, we kind of had this conversation a little bit last year, just in the few scattered playing time that he was getting. That I was like, he looks solid. He can really burst through the line. So I've been definitely happy with him emerging like that because, just unfortunately, Marlon Gunn hasn't got, due to his just kind of lack of playing time and some injuries, Marlon Gunn has not really gotten the opportunity and hasn't fulfilled the number 1 back. So it's good to see London getting in there and finished with 85 yards and a touchdown off 11 carries. So pretty good day in the backfield.
Another thing that stood out to me, guys, is just ECU's run defense at this point. I don't even know why teams try to run the ball on 4th and short, Phillip, because Charlotte goes 1 of 5 on 4th down. To their credit, they did try to throw the ball one time later in the game. That was also incomplete. They turned it over on downs as well. But, any short yardage situation, this defense pretty much sells out for the run, as most defenses do. But I don't know. I think ECU has proven they're good enough right now. You can't really just line up and try to run the ball in short yards. The run defense is too good. 40 yards net for the game for Charlotte.
Yeah, and it was 0 late in the third quarter. They were still at 0 rushing yards. Look, it comes down to 2 things. This team is very athletic in their hips. Therefore, they win the point of attack on almost every defensive rundown because they know how to stay low and they fire off the ball well. The other thing is whatever that award is for the best assistant coach in college football,
Roy Tesh.
all the more reason, Roy Tesh.
Dude's a hell of a coach. Heck of a coach, man. Roy Tesh getting after it. He was getting after it today at practice with his guys. By the way, QB1, Caton Hauser, first person on the practice field today. Always good when your quarterback sets the example. It was a cold and windy practice, but East Carolina had a short but to the point and effective practice this morning. Kenny Curlin's adding Brock Spalding would have scored if he could have made that catch across the middle. I think that was 3rd or 4th down. I will say Caton fired that thing super hard. And I know it's Brock still should have caught it, but I thought maybe if you take a little bit off that, he definitely catches it. But either way, Brock would say he catches it. Brock, he's a sure hand as they come. So I think they'll be better, more focused, locked in, making catches against Memphis. And they're going to see some man coverage. So this is a game we'll get into later in the week. ECU's going to have to win out wide. So there's your initial thoughts. Again, ECU wins it 48-22. Anything else we're not really addressing? I feel like it was just kind of ECU took care of business. Yeah, maybe they didn't win by 50, but not much to complain about.
Oh, definitely agree. Yeah. They look solid. A few mistakes here and there, but really can't complain. The defense has been, I know it's Charlotte, but the defense has been a pleasant surprise this season as a whole. I've definitely been pleased because I know that was one of the talking points we had during the offseason and kind of preseason wise. But they've been solid. They can definitely hold their own, whether it's Roy Tesh's defensive line or the secondary. I feel like they could definitely hold their own. That had some real guys with Lowry and Riddle step up in the backfield or as DBs.
Josh Aldridge, maybe Phillip, it's because we don't talk to him during the week, but I almost feel like he doesn't get enough credit for this defense this year. And I know that there were some things they didn't do well Saturday, but have we not talked about Josh Aldridge enough?
Yeah, I don't think we have. We questioned so many things, to Brady's point, coming into the season, and it's been the consistent side of the football. And I think Josh Aldridge being new this year, we always praised Blake in the past, but Josh being new this year, and then probably Blake being a defensive-minded head coach, and again, with us not talking to him, therefore, he is not out there where people are seeing him are hearing from him. He hasn't been on this show. I don't think he's been on Crosstown either. So, yeah, I mean, look, what he's done with this team and with a bunch of guys he had to kind of piece together, especially on the back end, has been nothing short of impressive, and he deserves a lot more credit than he's getting. And I can tell you, though, man, I talked to him last week at practice. You can tell, though, he's fired up, and maybe he likes flying a little under the radar. I don't know, because he's able to just do what he does, and what he does is damn good work.
All right, let's get a break in. We got a lot of comments we need to get to. We'll talk about attendance, keeping fans in the stands. These are the things we talk about when ECU wins comfortably, and there's not that much to talk about on the field. Also, we have an announcement about the game time for UTSA, but we don't have a game time. So I'll break that down as well when we get back. This is a Reaction Monday. Charlotte and East Carolina Pirates win at 48-22. ECU is going bowling. We'll break it down and more after this.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Allen, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Oh, hey, welcome back. You got here just in time. This is Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Monday, November 10th. ECU wins at 48-22 over Charlotte, and we are breaking it down. We got Brady Thomas in the studio hanging out, rejoining the show, former HTC intern, now doing a little bit of everything. We'll get more into that if we have time at the end. Philip Pilkin producing. And Brady's girlfriend's in the chat. Sarah Catherine says, hey, Brady Thomas. So, hello, Sarah Catherine. Thanks for hanging out. We got some comments. We'll get to those in a minute as well. So, the ECU UTSA game, there's been an announcement. Usually 12 days out, you get a game time This week, gentlemen, we get an announcement, a 6-day window. So the game has been placed on a 6-day hold. What this means is the start time for East Carolina's game at UTSA in San Antonio will not be revealed until after the conclusion of this weekend's coming games. Now, why would they do that, you say? First off, TV, this is kind of annoying, but this is just part of it. This happens all the time in the SEC. But what they're doing with the American is they're holding East Carolina UTSA. They're also holding South Florida at UAB. They're holding Tulane at Temple, and they're holding North Texas at Rice. So all 4 teams that are in the mix for a conference championship, along with who would be your 5th? Navy. Yep. Navy, which I think is
they're still a one-loss team too.
Yeah.
We are not talking about them at all because their schedule's such a gauntlet.
I guess
probably gonna lose
I think
South
they
Florida.
have a bye next week, so that's why.
Oh.
Yeah, Memphis and Navy have a bye, I want to say. I know Memphis does. Either way, ECU, they're holding these games because they're waiting to see what the conclusion of the games will be. And I would assume if ECU wins against Memphis, ECU at UTSA is the most attractive game of that, correct?
Yeah.
So maybe that gets an ESPN2.
7:30 ESPN2.
Especially with UTSA at home.
Yeah. You know, UTSA is a home gauntlet. So that's your news there. If you're going to San Antonio, like I am, kind of frustrating, but I am scheduled to leave that Friday, which we will have to record that Friday show ahead of time, Philip.
Oh, okay.
Which we'll figure that out next week. But that is your word on ECU and UTSA. Just wanted to make that known. All right, John Moody says all of the Big 12 is a 6-day hold, and half of the ACC is as well. So apparently there's no college football set for TV that weekend.
Except for Tuesday night action.
There you go.
Yeah,
So
they're trying to see how these conferences unfold, it sounds like.
this is what you want, though, if you're ECU in your important games, potentially. If ECU loses to Memphis, they're probably going to be on the plus. So you have that as well. All right, Corsair, let's go through some of these comments now. And we'll jump through that. Despite the interception, Corsair says the Pirates are vulnerable at defensive back. Yeah, I mean, look, the DB room, we've said it all along. Specifically corner, they've got solid players. I don't know if they have playmakers, and we kind of saw that at times. The guys were in position to make plays, and Charlotte kind of dunked over them at least a few times. So you give Charlotte credit, but that is a concern. For me, watching Memphis, I stayed up till 1 a.m. or so watching the game. Like, they've got dudes at receiver. So that worries me going into this game. But that's just part of it when you play good teams.
Yeah, they're gonna have a challenge on their hands on Saturday. That's for sure. I mean, Memphis is a darn good football team that clearly showed it. I mean, the quarterback banged up this past weekend. Still tried to make a comeback on Tulane, or other way around.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know why I had that mixed up.
They're
But yeah,
way down.
Yeah. They're gonna have a challenge on their hands, whether it's the DBs, the line. I mean, everybody. And Blake had talked about today that their linebackers and a lot of edge rushers, they bring a lot of pressure. So the offensive line is gonna have a lot on their hands to get through, and so we'll just have to see how it goes.
Memphis has one of the bigger budgets in the league. They're going to have one of the more talented teams in the conference as well. Somebody did ask, what is the status of their quarterback, Brendan Lewis? Look, he's got an ankle injury or leg injury of some sort. The way he played and the way he was wincing on it last week, I would not expect him to be 100%. What do they really have to play for? I don't know. I mean, there's a path they could make the conference championship, but a lot of teams would have to lose. So I do wonder, do they just go with the young QB this week, who, by the way, is extremely talented watching that game. So even if he doesn't play, Memphis is certainly capable of winning this game after watching that unfold last week. John Moody says he's here to eat some crow. Thought it was going to be a 4-quarter fight, and it was not. The Pirates didn't play down to the opponent. And for the most part, John, you're kind of right and wrong, because it wasn't the blowout people requested as well. But at least the first quarter was the result we wanted. Justice Bradburn says, I want to thank you for staying the entire game, unlike most of our students and fans. Well, I'm technically getting paid to stay. And I kind of made the comment, guys, to Blake Harrell, without like trying to throw the fans under the bus. I'm like,
Yeah.
what can we do to how much would a good crowd, specifically staying in the second half, mean to you? And he said that Brian Bailey would buy all the popcorn in the second half and I would buy all the beer. Now, I'm not doing that, but I don't know, Philip. What can we do? This is a game. ECU has not really played a four-quarter game at home this year, if you think about it.
Yeah.
This one's probably going to come down to that. We got to have some juice, man. This is a huge game. This is the biggest November home football game ECU's had in years.
Look, if the first half hypothetically ends the way BYU does, and people don't stay, we will lose. But if people stay and the team runs back out of the tunnel and people are cheering, that might be the extra juice that it takes. So here's the deal. I'm going to challenge. If you're a Pirate Club member and you leave, and barring it being now, if we're up by 30 or we're down by 30 and it's the middle of the fourth quarter, whatever. But if you're leaving at halftime of this game, you should have your Pirate Club status revoked. And if you're a student, you should not be allowed to go to the regional when we host it in baseball this year, or the super regional. And you should be banned from Omaha when we get there too. Quit leaving freaking football games. Okay, this week I can get a little, look, where you're up big, a lot of the people started trickling out, to beat the traffic. Midway through the fourth quarter, they're putting in the backups. Okay, that's fine. I prefer to stay, see how the backups are going to do, but, it's not the end of the world. But if we are in a dogfight with a chance to go to a conference championship game, and this is the game that's going to be the difference in us making it, and you leave, you should be ashamed. You should never come to an ECU football game again.
I agree. I mean, it's just one of those things where, look, this is a massive game. We talk about how great ECU's fan base is relative to the American Conference. It's time to show.
I'm going to say this fan base is sorry. Yeah, I went to school with a heck of a lot of teachers that were East Carolina grads, and they talked to me about, oh, man, it's the best fans. It's the best fans. Here's what the students do. Everybody's painted like skeletons. It used to be good. I really think it did. It was good in the Shane Carden days. It sucks now. It's terrible.
It's great when I was in school.
Yeah, but now it sucks. I'm just going to come out and call out the fans. You don't like me? Come see me. We'll discuss it over a beer.
Philip?
Yeah, we'll talk about it over a beer. No, I'm not threatening anybody. We'll have a beer and we'll talk about it. But this fan base is worse than it was advertised. I can tell you, a lot of people say, oh, man, it was even better than advertised. No, what I was sold from my high school teachers and stuff that went here and what it's actually become, it's worse than advertised. It's crap.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when I was in school, obviously, just this past May, you ask a lot of, like, casual people that don't really watch ECU, and they'll just tell you that they suck. And I'm like, they really don't.
No.
They don't suck. It's ridiculous. And then you can't explain to them how they don't suck because they don't care enough. So, and that's the first reason, is they don't care enough.
So there's multiple layers to this. We could do a whole show on this. By the way, a lot of fans of your rant in the chat, Philip, so I just wanted to point that out.
Because the people who are in the chat and watch the show are the ones who actually stay.
True fans.
They know how it used to be. And how it can be. Look, so there are multiple layers to this. I got the question in the VIP chat this morning. What has led to the decline in attendance? Part of it is the attention span. I think we were having that conversation, commercial break, of, I just think everybody these days, due to instant gratification, all of that. ESPN Plus has also taken away, in my opinion, thousands of fans per game, because you used to only have the games available on local TV unless it was a big game. So, like, let's say you live in Raleigh or Charlotte. Those people, longer trip, they can now watch every game at minimum on ESPN Plus. So that's taking away some from your attendance. Yeah. The opponents, look who you're playing. Charlotte, maybe if they're having a good season, maybe they bring 4,000 people. They had maybe 200 people there outside the band?
Yeah, their section was definitely smaller than I thought it was going to be.
It was bad. And I also put in, kind of going to Brady's point, like the media coverage of East Carolina and the media coverage of college football in general has changed so much since like 2000. It's all about the SEC now. If you live in Raleigh or Charlotte, all you hear about is the ACC. Like, there's no talk of East Carolina that much. I did get a request to go on Omaha radio today to talk about ECU football, which is quite a change. That's a whole different story. You get outside of Eastern North Carolina, though, you don't hear much about ECU. So I feel like unless you're in it, unless you're here and you're invested and you're in it, you don't realize how important ECU is and maybe how good they are, because it's just like, oh, it's ECU, they're in the American, who cares? So, like, I feel like your casual fan does not hear about ECU as much, and that's also led to a decline. And then, like, there are some things on the entertainment side that we could do better, I think, still inside the stadium, too. So, like, all that goes together, seeing kind of the end result.
Here's the other thing, and this is an NCAA problem. I wonder if halftime being 20 minutes is another reason more people, like students especially, like the NFL time is 12 minutes. By the time you go grab another drink, go to the bathroom, you might not make it back to your seat in the NFL. College halftime is way too long. What dumb idiot said we need a 20-minute halftime for a college football game?
20 is a lot. 15 would be fine.
15's too long in high school.
I mean, just do 15 for college, and then you have a happy medium.
There you go.
And the other thing on top of that I was going to add is just that I forgot to mention ECU, from 2015, 2016 really to 2020 it was a disaster. So, I mean, you take a 5-year block.
I get it, but students who are here now, say you're a fifth-year senior, you've seen 4 bowl games in 5 years.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Or 4 bowl appearances. I mean, one got canceled, but.
Yeah. Well, circling back to your ACC point, I saw it's probably someone that watches the show. I don't know exactly whose tweet it was, but it's like ECU has the most wins since Blake took over as interim in the state.
It's not even close.
Yeah, and you still get pretty sad fan support. So
Blake Harrell 11-4. I think the next closest was 8 or 9 wins on that list for in-state teams since taking over midway through last year. So, look, ECU, I do think consistent winning will get you back to having good crowds. I don't know if it'll ever be like when I was during the Shane Carden, Justin Hardy days, the early Hoist the Colors days. ECU was playing UAB and had 45,000 people there. I don't know if that's ever happening again, but I think we can at least get back to having around 40, and then for bigger games 45, and then hey, if you get NC State to come here in 28, you can approach 50. But I think in general attendance is down, and it's just hard for some of the reasons I mentioned. But it can get better, and people need to start buying back in.
Yeah, well, and your point too, I think, Stephen, has a lot to do with those out-of-town people. You can bring it in on ESPN Plus, and they couldn't back in the day. And that's just less people show up in general, which stinks. But I think it's more demoralizing when people leave than when people don't show up at all. I would rather you not show up than show up, and then the team runs out at halftime, and there's only a third of the amount of people that were there. If there's no crowd to begin with, they create their own energy, and it is what it is. When there is energy in the first half against BYU, and then they run out for the second half, and there's no one there supporting them, that makes it worse. I mean, it was honestly a home field disadvantage in the second half against BYU because so many people left. If you left, you suck.
It was, and part of the reason was how the half ended, but the game was not over.
The game, it would be down to Fairford if it was we were down by 14 and then that happened and now we're down 28. No, you were down by 2 scores. You were up 10 points.
Well said. Well said. Aaron does want you to simmer down, but
I know.
Everybody else is fine with the rant.
I know. Yeah, you're right, Aaron. I'm taking it a little too far, but it's just I just remember the pictures of back in the day, and it's dude, I didn't even grow up an ECU fan, and I'm feeling this way. I grew up a fan of another school in this state.
Justice Bradburn says to just let you take over, and I'll get out of the way. So
sorry, I'm not trying to.
No, he's being serious. You're doing better than anybody here. So. Let's get a break in. We got a lot of comments on this. We'll keep on going down this road. People have a lot to say, understandably. We'll come right back. We'll continue. This is Hoist the Colors.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Remember, get the podcast of the show on the IBX Media app or where you get your podcasts.
Got it. You don't have to tell me twice. I remember it exactly.
Stephen Igo and Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Reaction Monday. ECU beats Charlotte 48-22. We covered the game. We're moving on to the attendance part because I think a lot of it stems from we want to see a good crowd and an impactful crowd more than anything for the Memphis game because of the importance of the game. So we had an awesome rant from Philip. A lot of people are a fan of that. You can continue on, Philip. Brady Thomas also in studio hanging out today. More comments from that. Justice Bradburn says part of the reason the fan base is in shambles is because of Mike Houston's complete inability to beat in-state teams, and that destroyed the morale and perception of the university. Can't disagree there.
I honestly don't disagree, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 0-7, I think, against in-state FBS teams during his time. The Justice says it was 13-6 at half versus BYU, and the students basically flipped off the team and abandoned them. Worst students maybe ever. James Gilio, who joins the show, Hoist the Colors intern, is a student. He says the marketing for games and marketing for the importance of games is horrible. The average student has no idea we have a chance at a conference title right now.
Exactly what I was alluding to earlier.
So how do we address that? Because, John Gilbert, he put out a letter last week. He'll probably put out a letter this week saying, like, the importance of this game, all that. How do we get the students? Somebody did mention we need to go around campus. I think it was Brooks. Yeah, Brooks Hill says we need man-on-the-street videos on campus asking why students leave early to hear their answers. Then we can market better to the students.
Ooh, I like that.
I do like that. So, going around talking to students, is that the way to do it? Is there like a way
I want to see
professors can get involved? I don't know.
Yeah. So what I want to do, I think the Pirate Club and John Gilbert does a really good job. You can get the letters to the fans. The problem in the Pirate Club donors. The problem is a lot of those people that they're contacting with that are the ones who I'm not ranting about. They're the ones who are staying. It's the Henry Hintons of the world that are getting those. Well, Henry stays. The issue is the students. I think even more so. The fans, most of the fans the other night didn't leave till midway through the fourth quarter. It was mostly just the students. I think it's at the student center, have some sort of table with the marketing team out there talking to the students, but also posters in all the classrooms too. Or not necessarily in the classrooms, but on some of the bulletin boards that you see when you walk into the buildings that have classrooms. There needs to be even if it's way blown out of proportion about the conference championship, because let's be honest, it's a long shot, but say that if we win this game, we're going to the conference championship or something, even if you lie, right?
Lie to get students in the building.
To get students in the building. Just be look, man, if ECU wins this, they, or you can even say it is true they don't really control their own destiny. We know because of the metrics and all that stuff. But just put out there that ECU controls their own destiny to make a conference championship game. Have posters out there that say that. Have some of the marketing interns at a fold-out table, right there outside the student center, where I don't know, Brady, you've been a student more recently. Where kind of is the place? It used to be on the mall, but now that we have the new student center, isn't it kind of between Joyner and the student center that everybody kind of sets up and runs over the tables and stuff?
Yeah, it's honestly got more traffic than like the middle of campus over by the mall. So yeah, I mean, just anything at this point. Like, for example, I know I've seen Louisville's basketball's head coach Pat Kelsey. I mean, running through classrooms, running through the student center. Like, you going to the game? You going to the game? Go to the game. I'm not saying that you got to do that every week for a game against Charlotte, but
and Blake has been giving out stuff around campus, so he's trying
credit.
at least.
Yeah, credit to him. Blake is great at that. He knows what it means. I mean, he's been here for quite a while, and he knows what it means to have Dowdy packed. So, but yeah, we need to bring some extra juice here this week for sure.
All right, some more thoughts here. Kind of like this idea from John Davis. He says it might take the players appealing to the students peer-to-peer. Maybe we get Caton Hauser out there if he doesn't have too much going on. I mean, just some of the players going around campus saying, hey, you coming out to the game?
Giving away something.
Yeah.
Have it where you get to catch a pass from Caton Hauser. Have Caton Hauser out there throwing footballs to people in that little area we just talked about. You get to catch a pass from Caton Hauser and let the girls take a picture with him or something.
There you go. Matt Redmond says give them free food in the third. You know,
that disregards everybody getting out of their seat in the third quarter.
Yeah, the whole free thing. Give them something. Give them bonus points on a test. Or give them free Pirate Club. I think too, like Bobby Hayes kind of hits the nail on the head too. At some point, it's up to the students to take pride in being a Pirate, show up and stay.
That's the issue.
Yeah, like you got. I mean, you can try this stuff. At some point, the students just got to buy in and be like, all right, we got a serious football program. Let's go to the game because we should.
I know that one guy. There was one guy on Twitter that ranks all the G5 programs after every week, and he had ECU up to 7. I mean, I don't honestly know what you could really ask, like how much you could ask for here.
So
this is not going to say this is the ceiling for ECU, but it's not going to get too much better. So,
it's the most important home game they've had in November since I can't even recall.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to – I came up with a way that I think can help with the students. I think the marketing team at ECU or the Pirate Club or whoever needs to have a sit-down with the RAs, specifically the freshman RAs, and talk to them about getting a group of students starting next year, first game, whoever the hell we're playing, doesn't matter, and getting them together and saying, hey, let's all go to the game. Let's get a big group. Let's order some pizza before, have a little tailgate in the dorm maybe, and then all walk over to the game together. I'm going to compliment somebody here. Davis Searcy, who people know is one of the biggest Pirate fans there is, when he was an RA, he used to grab all the students in his hall, not even ones who weren't his residents, and take them to football games, volleyball games, soccer games. He would get this big contingency, and a lot of those people bought in and became big-time Pirate fans, and to this day, he will see some of those students at non-revenue sporting events because they're true Pirate fans. So I think the RAs need to do a better job of encouraging the students. That's how they'll get bought in.
Because technically the freshman is the biggest population on campus, which would help a lot as well. So.
And if you get bought in your freshman year, you're more likely to stay.
Exactly.
All good ideas. Jonathan points out you could put a QR code on the scoreboard at the end of the fourth quarter, apply towards some type of credit that could be used within the institution or maybe bonus points programs.
I do like that.
I have a glitch. Says I have Blake Harrell do a Blake's bus in the vein of Cliff's cab around campus. He says I quit going to games because I miss entire quarters just standing in line for food or drinks. I can watch games at home and run and get stuff out of the fridge during a commercial break. So
that's understandable. That's an air mark thing.
Yep.
That you can never disagree with.
Justice, he wants to disagree with Brady. He says this isn't the best it could be. It could be much better. We need the students and fans to reach the peak. So,
I was talking more about program-wise.
Yeah.
If I was to reiterate that. Yeah, we could definitely have a few more wins here and there, but I mean, to end the season possibly 8-4 is we're not a powerhouse 10 win every year type of program.
Well,
so I'm just trying to say that
realistic
the football is good.
I would say if you go 6, 7, 8 wins, that's a good season, and then you could have your occasional 10-win season where you're competing for a playoff spot. I would say is the best way to put it. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to consistently be ranked.
Yeah,
it's hard to
and
do
the
that.
ECU's going to hover around that 7 or 8 win season for the next couple years. Would be my assumption.
All right, so let's go ahead and get a break in. Again, we've talked about this, the attendance thing, fan stay, and we've done this for 2 segments. So we've thrown out some ideas. I do think a lot of it goes back to, we talked about earlier this year, culture thing, what what Bobby was saying about you got to have pride, show up regardless. So that's how it was when I was in school. I didn't need anything free for me and my friends to go to the game. We just showed up because it mattered. So hopefully winning more gets back to that, and it starts this Saturday with Memphis. We'll get our final break in. We'll come back. We'll address any final questions on the show. Also, somebody wanted to know about the bowls, the bowl tie-ins, so I'll read those off as well on this Reaction Monday edition of Hoist the Colors.
Hurry to Greenville Toyota for model year-end savings on a Camry. Just $229 a month. $229 a month. Or new RAV4, $279 a month. $279 a month. Only during our model year-end move-out. Right now at Greenville Toyota.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
It's Greenville Toyota's model year-end move-out. Save on a new Corolla, just $149 a month. $149 a month. Or new Tacoma, $249 a month. $249 a month. Now get a move on and save at Greenville Toyota.
We're live with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Hoist the Johnny Roger!
Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors, final segment here. Shout out to Nick Mazey, won the Special Teams Player of the Week for the second time this year. He hit a 50-yarder with room to spare, and I think it was Kenny earlier who said it's so nice, not to have to hold our breath when we were kicking field goals. It's been since Jake Verity, I think, since ECU had a kicker this reliable. Hopefully that continues. Been kind of wanting to write about it, but don't want to jinx him either, so I'm going to hold off for now. Number 12 had a really good, nice game for the defense Saturday. Kenny adds, that was Chance Graves, a Richmond transfer. He's done a really good job. Brooks Hill says, am I an old man yelling at clouds, being upset Brady was excited about being the 7th-ranked G5? So they're mad at you, Brady. Welcome back, my friend.
Yeah.
Look, I think he was trying to say, let's see if I can articulate it.
Yeah.
ECU can be the best Group of 5 team. They can make the playoff. But, like, from a monetary investment standpoint right now, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins, like, that is the realistic baseline for success. And then, yes, ECU can have a special season. But you're saying, like, this is a good place to be, and fans should get behind it right now as it is.
Yeah, and I'm also telling that more so because we were on the attendance part, more so to the casual fan that doesn't understand that ECU football is pretty good. For the NIL spot they are in, the G5, they are a pretty good football team. Sorry, words don't come out of my mouth the best, but that is kind of what I was trying to say.
There you go. So simmer down, folks. He wasn't saying ECU can't win a championship or anything like that. He just was trying to reiterate that point. All right, we had a comment from John Moody, I think, about bowl tie-ins. So the latest bowl projections.
That time of the year.
That time of the year, folks. We can get more into this as the weeks go on, but man, please don't send me back to Alabama for a bowl game. The Salute to Veterans Bowl, ESPN has ECU playing Louisiana Tech in Montgomery, Alabama at 9 p.m. on December 16th. No thanks, but that's a projection. And then they also have ECU projected to play Louisiana Tech in another bowl game, the Scooters Coffee Bowl in Frisco, Texas.
That means they're hosting a bowl game in the Cowboys' indoor practice facility.
Ford Center at the Star.
That's the Cowboys' indoor practice facility.
Well, that would be an experience, I guess. There's got to be seats there, I guess.
There's not a ton.
Yeah. Well, if it was ECU and Louisiana Tech and Frisco, Texas, maybe they don't need but so many bowl.
2 days before Christmas at 9 p.m. So you'll be flying back on Christmas
I'm going
Eve.
to say,
fair enough.
I may not be attending that one. I have a hard time believing ECU would end up in Frisco, Texas. But the AAC bowl tie-ins, or the American, bowl tie-ins aren't great. The 4 sure bowl tie-ins are the following: the Military Bowl on December 27th. ECU was in that last year. The Armed Forces Bowl in Fort Worth, Texas, January 2nd. The Fenway Bowl, December 27th in Fenway Park.
Please.
The Hawaii Bowl, Christmas Eve, 8 p.m. It would be a good TV slot and not a great travel slot, although if you can afford it, it'd be awesome. And then 4 selections from the following: the Frisco Coffee Bowl, the Boca Raton Bowl, the Cure Bowl in Orlando, which I believe has ECU ties with their staffing there, the Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa, Florida, the Myrtle Beach Bowl in Conway, South Carolina, the First Responder Bowl in Dallas, Texas, the New Mexico Bowl, and the Birmingham Bowl. So not a lot of great options, but anywhere in Florida, if ECU's not in the conference championship or winning it and heading to the playoff, give me Fenway for historical reasons or anywhere in Florida. And I guess Myrtle Beach, I can't complain about.
Yeah, just the travel-wise.
Does anything strike your fancy, Philip?
I think there's something nostalgic about playing a bowl game in January. Therefore, if you did go to the Armed Forces Bowl, that's one that is always kind of one of the teams that finishes in the upper echelon. Like, you're just not going to have a 6-6, 7-5 team in it. I think that'd be kind of cool. It'd be post New Year's. You're playing January the 2nd. That's a Friday. A lot of people could fly in on New Year's Day or even New Year's Eve, spend the weekend. You're in Texas. It's wintertime. Not the worst place to be.
I want to say Army or Navy has a tie in there, but I think it's like every other year, so I'd have to look at the contract with it being the Armed Forces Bowl.
Yeah, and I just kind of want something different from the Military Bowl as well, especially if a chance to go and stuff like that. Because, there was a great setup and everything, but new place, new stadium would always be a good time.
So Military and Fenway, you should get an ACC opponent. They're both the same day, December 27th. Military Bowl this year is 11 a.m. Eastern. The Fenway Bowl is at 2:15. So at least if you do go to Boston, it's going to be cold, but at least it's an afternoon game. I would like to see the Fenway Bowl. I think ECU fans would like it. I would like to go somewhere warmer too. So I can't complain if it's the Fenway Bowl. I think best case scenario, if you get Gasparilla Bowl, which I believe is a Power 4 opponent, that would be December 19th, 3:30 on ESPN, Raymond James Stadium. I think that would be a cool trip.
Yeah, I can't complain with that, with the time slot, date, and ESPN.
Earlier bowl games. So those are some options. And just as long as, just don't send me back to Birmingham. I've already got to go to Birmingham. I've already got to go to Alabama twice next year, Tuscaloosa and UAB. I don't really want to go to Alabama 3 times in the span of.
Don't make me work till 1 o'clock in the morning on Christmas morning and have to drive to Charlotte. That's my only request. I don't want to be like, passing Santa Claus on a sleigh on I-85, trying not to fall asleep.
Jonathan says, I want to see us take on an SEC school in a bowl for an opportunity to make a statement and give us some highlighted national media attention.
Hey, the Armed Forces Bowl that Oklahoma played in it last year.
Well, and that opportunity will come the first game of the season next year as well.
That's true. Well,
it'll be a big one.
We'll dive more into the bowl tie-ins as we get closer to December, but certainly good to be talking about it on November 10th. As opposed to where ECU was just a couple years ago in 2023, 2-10. So remarkable turnaround since Blake Harrell took this thing over. We're out of time on this Reaction Monday. Brady, appreciate you, man. Check out your work. You're doing some work for On 3 and also the Kentucky SB Nation site still.
Yep, the On 3 work I'll start to post some stuff about it this upcoming weekend. So if you want to check out my work, I would be greatly appreciated.
Support Brady Thomas doing his thing. Still in the sports media world, good to have you back, buddy. Even if you're making some fans mad along the way, but welcome back.
Of course,
we'll get you back on here shortly.
Yep.
Philip, thanks to you behind the scenes as well. We'll be back Tuesday at 12 noon. We'll dive more into Memphis starting then. We'll also break things down from a conference championship perspective as well. We'll see you then on Hoist the Colors.